How are you guys? Thought I would start with my camera pointing downwards so you guys don't have to look at the palm of my hand, and I can flip it in a little bit. So let's see if this is. Okay. So I'm gonna move this, just kind of trying to get everything in frame. For whatever reason, it doesn't let you look at what you're doing prior to choosing to go live, but I think we're in frame pretty well. Pretty good. How was your week? How was your week? Ours was busy, but everything was good. So I'm just kind of glad for that. Okay. So I think we're good. We hit a couple more lights and see if that doesn't brighten things up just a bit. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this morning I have some fun ideas, and I have a few different ways that we're gonna use some of our pattern paper to do some paper weaving techniques, which is a great way to add texture to your pages. And hang on, I need to make sure to mute this. And let's see here. Why this is there. Hang on. All right, hang on. This is always the thing. Okay, there we are. I just wanted to be able to see our chat. So if you can see me and hear me, can you leave a comment in the chat? So most of you probably are either receiving your kits or have received them, or they are on their way and will be arriving probably by Tuesday, I would imagine. Monday is a holiday here in the US, so and then those of you that are international, it takes obviously a little longer. Oh, good. Hi, Ermina, or Erminia, did I say it right? Okay. Shut this window too. Every time I'm getting ready for these, I start sweating like crazy, so open the windows and let the cool air in. So what I've done here is I have taken a bunch of paper from our main kit, and I've cut it in 1/4 inch strips. And I thought I would even do some thinner ones. If you have whatever kind of trimmer that you have, will work well. This, if you have one of these guillotine trimmers, they're really nice because you never have to. This thing is probably at least 15 years old. I've never replaced the blade. It cuts perfectly straight, and it's really easy to measure. The downside is that it's so big, but you know, it'll cut like, so I'm going to cut some like, let's do, I did some 1/4 inch. I want to do some really thin strips. So I'm going to do some 1/8 of an inch strips just to add some variety. Okay. So I'm just going to do them in a few different colors, just to add some variety in our patterns as we weave them. So how many have you? Hi, Kim. How are you? So I have some really fun ideas in how we can do this paper weaving technique using, if you have metal dies, I've got some ideas for that. If you don't have metal dies, that's okay. I've got some ideas for that as well. And the cool thing is this is a great way to use your pattern papers to combine a lot of different patterns onto one page. And the nice thing about our patterns is that our papers is that they all coordinate. So it's really easy to pull a bunch of them together and use them rather than having to sort through and try to find things that work together. Although that totally will work too. It's just if you have our kits on hand, it'll make it a lot quicker and easier, because all you have to do is open your pack and you're all good to go. Okay, let's do just a couple of others. Like some green. Let's do a couple of green 1/4 inch strips. But this is like so much faster than a, and let's do some really thin ones. So we'll do, it's easy to line up your measurements with this and just cut them, or cut your strips. I started doing it with my Fiskars trimmer, and I'm like, yeah, no, we'll do this. It'll be quicker. And I've got one of my kids, or one or more of my kids. Hi.
Are you on your thing?
Yeah, you can say hello.
Okay. Hi. I brought you a breakfast sandwich.
Oh, Starbucks. What's your favorite treat from Starbucks? I have many. And it's always such a nice surprise when somebody brings you a treat that you're not expecting. Okay, I'm going to do some 1/4 inch of this one, because I use some of these because I have something to show you, but I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. Oh, thank you. Now, ultimately, if you have the patience to do this technique with both of the long or the wide strips and the narrow, that would be super cool. Okay, I'm going to pull these aside. side. I'm going to do a few more because the reverse side of this is yellow, and I could do some whiter. Yellow, let's do 3 or 4. And we'll do some thin ones. Okay, so we've got a variety of different yellows as well. And the only other color that I want to do is, there's some orange in here somewhere. Where is the orange? I know it's here somewhere. Here it is. Let's do a couple. So currently, what's your favorite color to work with? I'm kind of liking orange all of a sudden. Maybe it's the coming of summer. Let's see if it's the coming of summer or spring, and I don't know who saw the sneak peeks of our June kits. They're so cool. I'm so excited about them. And in fact, in about a week, I think I'm going to be able, as soon as our kits, we reveal them, I'm going to do a little sneak peek, or like a share of some of the embellishments, because they're super cool. And I'm very excited about all of them. Okay. Not that I have to have these perfect, honestly, but when I start sorting through things, it makes it easier to find what I'm looking for if they're sorted by color. Okay, so get this out of the way. Okay, so I have a few different ideas, and I'm gonna push these kind of up towards the top of my desk so that I can work towards the bottom and you guys can see what I'm doing so that I'm not off frame. So these are the cardstock colors right here. The dark blue, there's a light blue. This is a mint. This is kind of a periwinkle, a darker pink. This is a peachy pink and a light yellow. So those are fun to work with. And then they obviously coordinate with all my paper strips that I've got cut, which I'm excited about. It's funny because I started working on this last night, and then this morning when I woke up, I was like, oh, I have some more ideas. So that's how it usually goes for me. I don't often start with a specific idea. I might have a concept in mind, but it oftentimes evolves as I start working. So which is kind of cool. I don't know if you guys have something specific in mind when you start, or if you just kind of mess with things until it turns into what you want. Okay, so I'll put those over there. Okay, so first of all, let's start with some of our dies. And where did I put? Okay, so I don't know. I don't know how many of you have these dies on hand. This die was sold out. Our Filmstrip die sold out so quickly that we decided to restock it. So this one is in stock again. If you didn't have a chance to pick it up, you should definitely do it. It's super versatile and might be one of my favorite dies that we've done in a while. And I'm going to show you some more ways that you can use this today in like not a traditional film strip, but to create kind of a pattern and an interesting focal point that will add like some texture, pattern, and detail to your page. And we'll also do the same thing with our brick texture die. And this is a cool one too. So we're going to use both of these. For today, I'm just going to, this one comes with 2 dies. It comes with a large film strip, and then this is a smaller one. And so today I'm going to use the smaller one. So let's start with the smaller. So I cut a bunch of these out, and I cut them on a heavy white cardstock because I'm going to be kind of weaving paper in and out of them. And I thought if I had a lightweight cardstock that the division between each square might be kind of flimsy and then it would break. So that's kind of how I'm that was my thought process behind using the thicker paper. So I believe, gosh, I don't even know what this is. I have a bunch of 8.5 by 11. It might be Nina Solar White cardstock, and it this could be 120 pounds. I have to double check. But are you coming with us today?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go paint some pottery this afternoon. So, so what I'm gonna do is, let me grab, just want a sheet of plain cardstock to work with, and so these, I was thinking we could do these in maybe like somewhat of a rainbow order. So maybe starting with this one. Okay, bye. So basically, all we're gonna do is weave this paper in and out, and then I'm not going to glue anything down yet, and I'm going to have the outside. I'm just going to kind of angle the edges. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do some orange. And just gonna weave these in and out. And for this one, let's pull this out a little bit. I'm gonna vary, the reason I'm not gluing them down is because I might kind of move them in or out this way depending on how I want to place them, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a stripe going down either the center of my page or I'm going to go this way. I haven't decided yet. But I can change the outer edge by being able to kind of adjust these. So that's why I'm not going to glue them down yet. However, because I cut some thinner ones, I can, I think, this one might just be a little too wide, but we'll see if I can make it work. Because I don't want to slice. Let's see if there's a thinner one. Because these I wasn't super careful. This one will work for sure. So I'm going to do it the opposite. Go over, under, and I think what I'm going to do today is we'll talk about a lot of different ways to do this, and then next week we can create a finished page using one of them, and I'll let you guys choose which one you want me to create a layout with. Okay, so I'm going to pull that one and do that. So see, you've got like different, you've got like interesting detail on the edge of this die, and then we've also got some interesting detail as we weave this paper through, and it creates creates a pattern which is broken up by the white. So let's do orange, let's say yellow, yellow, and I may decide to cut a small piece out of that rainbow paper. Cut this, and kind of wanting my angled pieces to go the same direction. So there's yellow. I think I have a thin yellow too that we can add in. Since we did it on top on the other one, let's do it below. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm alternating so that the over-under pattern is opposite. Honestly, I should probably do that in between each piece. So I may. This and this, and we'll have this way. So there's that. We'll do blue. Let's do this one. I think I've got a narrow one of this too, but I think that one's a little white. Let's see if these two will work together, because okay, so this one, keep grabbing that one and it didn't cut quite right. Okay, so I'm going to go under, over, under, over. And like I said, because this is like heavy cardstock, it holds its shape and it makes it a lot easier to weave your paper. this one go. Oh, this is going to work, I think. Yay. Be a little tight, but it will work. Hopefully. Yeah, it's going to work. And it's easier if you just try to slide it a little bit, because if you try to bend it to get it through each one of the up and down over the dividers, it'll put bends in your paper. Okay, yeah, so that one looks like a total basket weave, does it not? I like that. So who else is here? Okay, so there's the blue. Let's do, this one's going to be on top. And I'm probably going to put a smaller up there. Orange, yellow, blue. Let's do green. Do a narrow green. And because I kind of like the double weave better, because having the different sizes of the strips I think makes it more interesting. It just takes a little bit of patience, but this is something that you could do sitting in front of the TV. You know, if you had your dies already cut, your strips cut, you can watch TV and do this. And then you've got this great like anchoring piece for your layouts. That one kind of long, but that's all right. Blue. And I think we'll use this guy as our violet. And I might do like 2 layers of this. I think I'm going to have a narrow one. I might, no. I'm going to cut another strip of this, but I'll do that I'll do that off camera so you guys don't have to sit through that. Okay, so let's do another. Might not make it through all of them, but the other thing too is, you know, you can vary. Actually, I don't like that strip. Let's use this one. Looks like eyelashes to me. The other thing you can do is you can vary and have like 2 strips of different colors. So you vary the width. So like for instance, we can have 2 of these. Let's do maybe 2 of the yellow. And let's grab a thin one. And so what are your plans for your long weekend? Hi, Kathy. So glad you joined us. We're doing some paper weaving. Like I'm all thumbs. And then probably do these different lengths. Okay. So we'll add a second yellow. See, that already makes this more interesting, right? And then I was gonna do a second green, but I think I'm gonna do another blue. And this is good because I only cut this number of dot, or this, I only cut, these are all the film strip dies that I cut, or die cuts I cut. So we'll put that in there. And the other thing you can do is you can vary the dimensions of your die cut. So, for instance, so this one is shorter, maybe this one. Try not to cut my strip. That looks a little terrible. So this makes it more interesting too by varying the length of the, I'm not going to go that short, I don't think. You just need to be able to see where to snip. So this can go that way, and then maybe we'll shorten this one as well. Okay. Again, not perfect, but, and so what we've done is we've created, and I'll add extra pieces here and extra pieces to these two, so it kind of fills it in a little bit better. But we can lay these out in different ways, and then we can also vary the edges by trimming these or pulling them so that this one might be closer to the edge, or it might be a flat edge, you know. And so maybe we've got one that we'll just kind of mess with these, because I have plenty of extras if I do something that I'm not happy with. But trim that off. So you can do some that are lined up with the edge, and maybe some that are extend beyond, like this one. Really, I wanted, okay, and then this one, maybe since we've got two of them, maybe we'll trim both. but it just will add a variation to, let's see, let's do this one, we'll trim it all the way. Okay, so this one, this guy needs to go underneath. Okay, so that, and then we'll leave this one maybe as it is, and that one as it is, and then maybe we'll cut this one down, and so it changes the way that it looks, right? And you could, if you really wanted to get crafty, there's all these little lines, so you could hand stitch in between to add a little more detail. And it wouldn't be that difficult because the lines are, or the holes are already piloted for you. So that's also an option. But if, you know, you can do it this way, you can also do it this way. If you turn this, and if you wanted to maybe add some more interest to this, you could have some mixed media behind this. And you could maybe, let's see, do I have any mixed media backgrounds that I have shoved somewhere? I bet I do someplace. Let's see. Well, here's this one. This one obviously isn't the right color family, but you know, if you wanted to do like a mixed media background, you could do that instead of doing a white background. But I had so this was another idea. This was kind of my thought, is that in March we had a faux paint strip mixed media background. But if you wanted to, you could have your paint, your brush strokes behind it, and then add your film strips on top of it. So that adds just another layer. So you could do it either as tone on tone, or you can mix it up, you know, and have blue, and there's the pink one. So you could, you know, do it this way. So that's another option. So there are those. And do you guys have any questions about any of those? Okay, so then let's kind of brush these scraps out of the way. Do something unusual and keep my workspace tidy. I think sometimes I do better when everything's flying all over the place. I think that's how my brain works. Okay, so in addition, we also have these little dies, which these are the brick texture dies, and I thought that these were also perfect for paper weaving, and you could use them to kind of create a grid design if you wanted to, by creating your own little patterns. And to avoid them all being the same, you could cut some of them down. That. So then you'll have a little bit more white space in between. So they're all about the same size, but the pattern itself is different. And if you flip it, so let's do this one and this one, and maybe I'll just change the pattern of that one. So you've got a variety of different patterns, and you could use these and kind of overlap them to create a pattern that will go linear, so that you have a little bit of detail going either vertically or horizontally, or you could do like a grid design with, you know, 6 or 9 different little woven kind of like patterns or squares. So like for instance, if you wanted to do like kind of a monochromatic, so obviously this one, and this might do better if you glued it as you went, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it this way. So actually maybe this top one I will glue, because there's only one square and it won't hold otherwise. So let's, oops, added a bunch of glue on that one. Okay, gotta be a little careful, I guess. But that will hold that in place. And we may need to just do that. Probably do that under here too. And these fine tip glue applicators are really nice for this kind of stuff, because you don't get glue everywhere. Okay, so then we'll do this one. Actually, this one might do a little better like that. And again, we can vary the length of our strips. Go ahead and add some glue. We'll just do one of these, and then I can finish these up off camera, but it gives you an idea of how you can, another way you can use this die, because the die itself is really cool just the way that it is, and just using it with either white or colored cardstock. But then this just takes it to a new level and allows you to have, let's see, do I want to go, for these, I think you just have to, you can't always alternate. Well, yeah, you can. Because I think you need to, so that you have like a variation in pattern. If you don't care, then you don't need to do that, but I think having the other thing you could do if you were so inclined, you could back some of these. So like if you cut a bunch of them with pattern paper, you would have a bunch of the cutouts, and you could kind of create your own mosaic, kind of. This, I do not like that that's sitting. Okay. I think because this is the way that it is, I'm gonna. Okay. And let's just kind of do a repetitive. If you wanted to, you could even do like the notched edge. And if you leave these long enough, you can adjust the length of your kind of your tail that's hanging out the side. There's that. Let's do a little more of this one. Actually, there might be some of these little pieces here that might fit. Huh, how about that? And the other thing you can do is you don't have to, like with the other shapes that we did, or the other die cut that we used, you don't have to have all of them have a really long overhang. Oops, let's see here. So let's say we glue this, like this. And I'm weird with like linear things. Like if everything, all of the lines are straight, I feel like all the lines have to be straight. But that's just my preference. To make this one a little different, we'll just trim that one off at the edge. And this one. One side. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Joanne. So glad you're here. Just doing a little paper weaving. Honestly, this reminds me of being in elementary school where, you know, you're making those placemats out of construction paper, like for Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever. Wonder if kids still do that. I think my kids did at some point, but it's been a long time since they've been in elementary school. I was the art parent in my oldest daughter, and then I think in one of the other girls' classrooms. But for Megan's classroom, we made a three-dimensional cornucopia on a bulletin board using butcher paper. And it turned out so cool. Okay, so we've got that one, and then we'll have another blue one at the bottom. Let's do it this way. So the top one had under over, and then we'll do it right. And so you can just use some of the strips. But if you did this, honestly, it might be kind of fun if you varied the edges a little bit. I think this one needs to be shortened just a tad. But see, if you had a bunch of these, you could layer them onto your background and create like an anchor for each one of your squares for your grid design. And you could do it this way, you could do it this way, or you could even do them diagonally. And that would be kind of cool. And so you could do one that was all blue, you could do one that's all yellow, you could do one that's all orange, all green. And then kind of when you embellish it, you can use like tone on tone embellishment. So that is kind of a fun way to use this die. It is, it's like, I mean, I find fussy cutting kind of therapeutic as well, because you just have to focus on that. So, yeah, so that's kind of a fun way to do things also. So for those of you that don't have metal dies or die cutting machines, don't worry. I've got some ideas for you too. Okay. So there is a reason why this white cardstock is sitting here. And so what I want to do is, if you have like a craft mat that has a grid on it, if you have a craft mat that has a grid on it, you can use that to line up your weaving on a solid sheet of cardstock. So again, talked about this stuff before. This is Post-it tape. I use it to hold my dies in place when I die cut, and I use it for this. You can use it for masking when you're stamping, because it peels up and it doesn't damage your paper like washi tape would. So, and then for stamping, if you want to use it to mask off an area, when you are stamping, you would stamp onto this, and this is like a matte paper, so you can stamp on it and then fussy cut around the edge and then lay it over your image where you don't want the ink to go. And then you can stamp over the top with the net, whatever color you're using. And then you can peel this up and voila. So a lot of different uses for this. You can get it on Amazon. I'm not sure the price, but it comes in a roll like this, and there's a serrated metal edge here, and you just pull some up and rip it off. So it's super easy to use. Okay, so let's kind of put some thought into this. So we have all of these different strips of paper that I've cut, and this is just I'm going to just be a little random and just choose some colors that might work together. And then this one has a little bit of orange on it, not that we'll probably see a lot of the orange. And then the orange actually has a stripe. So let's see if we can kind of alternate between something that's busy and something that's not. And then let's do maybe some green. And I kind of want something that has a little bit of pattern to it. So let's do some blue. And we'll have a little bit of yellow. And these are just the pattern papers from our May kit. And you could do this with any of them. So in essence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pattern by scoot. Yeah, I'm going to scoot these. I'm going to move these all out of the way because I don't need them like this at this point in time. And if I need more, I will grab them. Okay. So let's put these aside. So we'll move these over here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create a pattern that repeats that way. And this one. This one, scoop those, and then we'll put the orange one, this blue one, a green one, there, the green over here, we'll do a blue, and a yellow. I may need more blue. Okay, so what we'll do here is on the edge, I just put a little dot, and this allows you to line things up really easily. And there's a few different ways that you can do it. You can choose how you want to do it. Like, for instance, you could like have a strip of paper skip a 1/4 inch, have another strip. But for me, I'm just going to kind of glue these on here, and I'm going to line them up and just butt them up right next to one another. And that allows you, if your paper strips are cut straight, it allows you to have straight strips. Or like your papers will line up correctly. I just kind of lay them down. The other thing I do sometimes is, because there's a little bend in your paper, just to make sure that everything is lining up properly, I'll kind of tape them together like that. You don't need to do that, but and we'll add a green one. Now trust me, I'm not going to make you sit through watching me weave this whole paper, but just kind of show you how I did it. But like, you could use whatever papers you have on hand. You could do it with a single pattern. It would take 2 sheets of each pattern. With this, I think you need about 2.5 or 3 inches of each pattern paper. And you could do these in smaller little grids. So you could do them in like little 4-inch grids. And then you could use these. Let's see, I didn't line this up, and now this glue dries so fast. So now we'll go back. Actually, I think I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, so when you glue these, you just want to make sure that you kind of lay them flat so you can see that they're straight. Okay, so then we've got pink. And another little stripey guy. What do you think? Do you think that you'd have the wherewithal to do this? The end result is really worth it, and I'll show you what that looks like shortly. But until then, you're going to have to bear with me. I think just adding a little strip of glue is better than trying to glue each individual strip. But you see how they're all lining up completely straight, and green. I'll do one of these blue. And yellow. Okay, so without having me go through and do this. You would go, I mean, you can do it as far as you want. You could go down the entire length of the cardstock and kind of add all of your strips, and then you could weave the whole thing. But for time's sake, we will, I'm going to hold this in place. So what I'm going to do is we'll start weaving across. So over, under, and I find that it's easier just to kind of lift your paper or kind of push the other paper or so that you get a slight bend in it rather than trying to actually weave your strips. And like I said, this takes some time, but it's super cool. Okay, so then you just put this and kind of put it at the bottom. Okay, so then we'll do, let's start, we're going to go kind of backwards here. So this one, we're going to go over the top. So you want to alternate. So over the top, under, so each row is opposite of the previous one. But I love the texture, and this creates such an awesome pattern. And you know, there's just a little bit of each one, and so there you go. And then we'll do the green, and then this one we'll start with under, over, and so you see kind of how and if you go a little further up, you're able to move the vertical strips. So you can weave your horizontal strip through. Okay. So I'm just going to go through one row of this pattern, and then I'll show you what the end result looks like when you finish. So we've got green, we need an orange. Go at the top. And because these are placed so tightly together, the horizontal strips really hold in place because they're woven in there really snugly. Okay, so we've got orange, and we'll do a pink. This one goes under, over, over. So last night when I was doing this, we were watching TV, and I'm sitting there mumbling to myself, under, over, under, over, under, over. I think it was driving Bob crazy. This one requires a little more focus than the others do. And if you didn't want to do the whole thing and you just wanted to have like a border of your page with this woven edge, you could totally do that and just, you know, only do a portion. Let's see, you know what, I missed one. Whoops. Pull that out. Under. Got a little ahead of myself. This is like watching paint dry, I'm sure. So what do you guys have planned today? It is rainy here. We were going to go to a nursery and get flowers to plant my, do my flower pots and my flower boxes on our deck, but it's rainy and gross, so we're going to go paint pottery. Okay, now pink. Another thing that could be really cool once you finish this, you know, you can always like think to take things up a notch. You could run these through your sewing machine and stitch along each row, and it would give like even more detail and texture. That would be something I would do, just for the heck of it. Okay, so I want a rainbow piece. So this one will go under, over, under, over. Alright, so we've kind of done. So now what I'm going to do is I just want to make sure that my rows are straight. They don't have to be perfect, but I just want to make sure that nothing is like super wonky. Okay, so then what I do is I take my glue and I glue each one of the top, and I, on the opposite side, do the same. Oops, happens every time. Okay, then I'll do the same at the top. Just eat these. Need that top one. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, where's my scissors? So I basically want this not. There's probably a nicer way to do this, but this is just how. And so I'm just going to and if you left a little bit towards the bottom and didn't glue it quite towards the very end, you could have this little fringy detail also. So, yeah. So then this is kind of what you've created. So, show you up close and personal. I'm always off towards me. I can never figure out exactly where the camera is. Okay, there we go. So you can kind of see all the detail. And if you flip it, you've got a different look on the reverse side, except for the fact that you've got this ugly thing. But you could use this as a focal point or an anchoring point for a grid design as well. Or you could use it, if you did a whole page of it, you could use it in a lot of different ways. If you wanted to, you could take like a little corner and create a pocket, trim these off, kind of have a little pocket, and then lay it on your page and sew around the edges, and you can tuck stuff inside. So that's another option. But yeah, so it adds like really unique texture. And so here is, I did an entire sheet. I wove this entire sheet, and I absolutely love how this turned out. I mean, it's so cool. And the texture is just really pretty. So here's kind of a close-up. But I used like the same patterns that I used in the smaller piece that we did. I might have had two extras that we didn't use, but I think I added like a dainty floral and a blue stripe. So if you add like some of those more solid-ish, it kind of helps break up some of the more detailed. Oh, and I didn't have the rainbow on this one. But so my thought was with this, grab a sheet of cardstock. Like, you go through all of the effort. You don't have to use all of this to create your page. You can cut it up and use bits and pieces. So I was thinking that I would do it and cut it like this, and then just have a portion of this pattern on my page. So I think that that's likely what I'll do. So those are some ideas for paper weaving. And I hope that maybe they've inspired you to give this technique a try. It really will add a lot of texture and dimension to your pages, and all kinds of projects. So you could do it. I mean, I thought about doing like really, really tiny, tiny, tiny strips like this. And anyway, did not do that. Would take forever, but I think it could be really cool. So, does anybody have any questions or comments or requests? I can't believe that I've been going for an hour and a half. That always happens. It's always longer than I think it is going to be, but yeah. So I hope you feel inspired to give some paper weaving a try. Try it with your dies. You know, if you have that Filmstrip die, I think that that's super cool. And maybe next week we can. There went the other light. Maybe next week we can create a finished layout using one or more of these woven patterns. How about you guys choose which one you'd like to see? You know what? If you had metal dies that cut strips, it would totally work. In fact, if you had tape like this, like for instance, let's say, and if you've used a die, all of your strips are going to be exactly the same shape. But like for instance, I have to cut this, but so you could piece them back to back. Well, that did not work very well, but you could piece them back to back like this, and then trim the edge. And then you've got a longer strip. So if you have a metal die that cuts strips, and if you have a metal die that cuts strips that are like different widths, that would be super cool too. The strips are 1/4 inch. And then the more narrow ones that I did are approximately 1/8. So I used the more narrow ones on, where did I put it? I used some of the more narrow ones on the little film strips. Like this one. Let me move this out of the way. So this one I used like a quarter of an inch and 1/8 of an inch. And you could even use like probably 3/8 of an inch on a single one of these, and that would look really cool too. But the more you do, the more texture you get. So anyway, I'm gonna mess with these a little bit more. Maybe we'll do a layout with these since I didn't entirely finish these. But if you have this die, you can cut a bunch of these out, and then you can cut a bunch of strips of paper and weave your metal die this week, and then we can make a finished layout. Yeah, you could hide the seam for sure. For sure. Or like for instance, if you if you had them like a shorter width and then you had some a longer width, you could do like a diagonal woven strip that comes down the corner to corner on your layout. So anyway, lots and lots and lots of ideas, and I hope you guys will sit down and play with this a bit. If you want to, let's make a layout using these little film strips next week. If you don't have the film strip die, just create some little strips that are like this, that are maybe maybe 2 or 3 rows, and then we can kind of mess with that. You can use them the same way that we're going to use these, and you could do it with using some like white or solid cardstocks along with the patterned cardstock, but you can do it however you'd like. And then we can make a layout next week with these. Or you could do, like, if you don't have the die, you can maybe weave some smaller little squares like this, and you can use those. You can follow our design. The whole idea is the paper weaving, so whatever works for you. I'm so glad that you're inspired to give this a try, Joanne. I think it's super cool and just kind of something out of the ordinary. And I like to think of different ways where you can combine your pattern papers along with the embellishments in your kits to create like some unique things. So this definitely fits the bill for that. So perhaps maybe work with your dies or create some kind of woven pattern, and we can either cut it up or, you know, we'll kind of mess with them a bit and figure out which direction we're going to go. Maybe print 1 or 2 black and white 3x4 photos, and then maybe fussy cut some of the florals or different patterns of paper, regardless of whether it's this kit or a previous kit. But if you're lucky, maybe you guys will have your May kits in time to play along. But this will work with any products that you have on hand. So, with that being said, I don't want to take up your whole Sunday because I'm long-winded and I can go on forever and ever. But I think that we will kind of put a pause on this and we'll start up again next week. So until then, I want to thank you all for joining me. If you liked this video and you liked what I did, perhaps you can give my video a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. And yeah, so, and then also join our Facebook group. Don't forget to do that. And you can head over to our website at www.hipkitclub.net, and you can get all the information for all of these, all the products in our May kits. So until then, we'll meet up again next week and we'll make something pretty. Have a great week, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Bye.